This video is about vulnerability and how it can be your superpower for just being in yourself, your frame, that person you really long to be, but a lot of times you shrink back because you're afraid of the results that it might get you. What do I mean by this? A lot of times at work, a lot of times with our friends, a lot of times with our partners, we find this space that we have fear to tell the truth, to walk in the truth, to tell how we're really feeling about a situation. And that can lead to disrespect. That can lead to not being a great worker in a workplace because, well, if you don't respect yourself, then others don't respect you, and so forth. It's basically like you're living in this world of fear because you're afraid that what you might say is gonna have backlash, really. But think about Jesus. He was walking in his truth. He was vulnerable. He said things the way he saw them, and he didn't really care about the results. Like, he didn't care if they liked his message or not. So I'm not saying going around like pointing a finger or saying you had to have things your way. That's not it at all. This is not that. This is being vulnerable and, not having the fear of man. So you can go to your boss and you can ask for a raise. So you can go to your friends and you can, say, hey, like, I'm feeling this way. How are you feeling? Like, God has given us this authority. God has given us this superpower to walk in our truth. And for example, like, let's say you're on a trip, right? And you're always doing what the other person wants to do. And they're saying, hey, I would like to go on this amusement ride. What about you? And you're like, yes, 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 to every single thing they say on the trip. And then you're not really truthful about what you want to do. And then at the end of the trip, you are like, oh, I'm so annoyed with them. We did everything they wanted to do. We didn't do anything I wanted to do. And you become bitter because you weren't walking in your truth. You weren't letting it out, your vulnerability about, hey, actually, I want to do this. Or, it's like, we can become bitter because we don't speak up, or we always go with what the other person wants to do because we're afraid of that backlash. But can I just say that backlash, so to speak, is like so temporary. It's so temporary. And if this person pushes back on what you're saying, is it really that horrible? Is it really like that, like, scary? Like, okay, I might lose this relationship. Well, if it was that faulty, maybe it really wasn't that like strong of a relationship anyway. But in most cases, this can strengthen your relationship with people and get rid of people and circumstances that don't belong. So I feel like this is a huge part of authority because Jesus always walked in his authority. He always was like, hey, this is how I feel about this situation, and I'm going to speak it. And it either more people came to follow him, and the ones that were not supposed to follow him fell away. Like, there was this feeding the 5,000. He said, some of you just came for the loaves, some of you just came for the miracle, but others of you wanted to hear the message. So those people who just came for the food, they had to go. They weren't there for the right reason. So a lot of our friendships are like that. Some of our friends, we think they have the best intention for us, but a lot of them are not there for the right reasons. But the ones who are, when you tell them how you feel about a situation, they're going to stick around, and it's going to grow, and things are going to blossom, and you guys are going to just grow, and you're not going to feel like trapped in your thoughts and bitterness, because you're going to speak up and you're going to live in it. So I think a lot of times walking in love is, walking in the things that we need to cultivate and talk about with our friends, with our family, with our job, so we can get promoted, so we can be in the truth. Because otherwise we're just being fake. We're not being real. And that's not walking in love. That's walking in guilt because they want me to do this one thing that I don't really feel like doing. That's not love, guys. Love is, hey, I want to serve you. I want to do this for you because I love you. And I love you. And that's what God has called me to do. He's called me to love you. So let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah, sometimes there is things that we shouldn't say, but there are some things that we need to say. We need to be vulnerable with each other so we can get rid of all of those internal things that pull us down. So God bless. I hope this helps. And this little scarf here is from my best friend, Janie Miller. She owns a organic farm. It has sheep, and she makes beautiful wool hats, scarves. She dyed this with her own plants from her farm, and there's many things you can buy on her website that's totally organic. She sheared the sheep, she dyed the colors with her own plants. It's amazing. She's up in Seattle, and it's called Happy Gnome, www.happygnomefarm.com, www.happygnomefarm.com, and you can find her on Instagram, Happy Gnome Farm. So yes, and I'm just sporting it for her, and have a great week.